the story is people don't really care about price. But if you look at the history of kind of all products as, consumer gets more mature, is like people always want more money. In 100 years, people are going to want more money. So I don't think that's ever going to change in sports betting. Like at scale, eventually people are always going to want better odds, more money.
All right, we're here with Zack, founder of 4casters. Welcome to G2E.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Thanks for having me. I love betting startups. I was talking. You guys have the best swag in the game. You kind of make me. You got to give me one of those. Maybe the fourth time I get one of those.
Deal. You know what? If I get you on for the fourth time,
all right, deal.
I will take this off of my back and give it to you.
All right, I'll give you my shirt. I'll bring an extra one.
I would love that. All right, so been a crazy 6 months. You've been on a quick hit series just like this 6 months ago at SBC. It's flown by. You've done a lot. You promised a lot in the last one, and you've hit it. Talk to me what's happened.
Yeah, we just hit our all-time for volume matched in a week, 10 million. So that's, a big bottle-popping moment. Kind of feels surreal, but, it's been great. It's great to build something that people want to use. We did 40 million total match last month. So really kind of reaching a new echelon of users. What we found is about 90% of our users, when they make a bet, they just stay on, right? Because the type of people who will use crypto and care about price, like right now we're doing, that's who we're focused on serving, and we're just laser focused on giving them the best experience, and, seems to be resonating.
You're very much in the liquidity game. Talk to me about what you're doing for market makers.
Yeah, 100%. So the lifeblood of an exchange really is unique liquidity, right?
Yeah.
It's not just liquidity. You can get someone who posts liquidity everywhere to post on you, and it's same as everybody else, right?
Yeah.
We've really taken, made it a main focus to bring new liquidity providers into the space, which has always been kind of how we got started. But on top of that, we're working with new sports books to directly post their lines onto the exchange, right? And just make it go directly to them, right? And so we're really trying to bridge the gap between like, hey, we want to be the one-stop shop for betting, right? You go on, you see all the sports books, you make your bet. You don't even have to question if there's a better price elsewhere because all the prices are already baked in on the exchange.
It's amazing to remove that question from the sports bettor because, that immediately gets in their brain and gets them to pull away, so.
Right, because I think everybody at the end of the day, the story is people don't really care about price. But if you look at the history of kind of all products as, consumer gets more mature, is like people always want more money. In 100 years, people are going to want more money. So I don't think that's ever going to change in sports betting. Like at scale, eventually people are always going to want better odds, more money. And for example, someone like Pinnacle, who their story was, we offer minus 105 lines. Well, the market kind of adapted, and now Pinnacle doesn't always have the best price, right? So if you can kind of take everything and basically say, no matter what, when you go to our site, we will show you the best price for betting on something. I think that's very powerful, and it simplifies the experience for the consumer.
You guys are now focusing on player props. Tell me more.
Yeah, so props we think could be a huge new vertical for us in the betting exchange world, right? Now, I think when you think of player props, I think of like, will Jahante Porter score like over under, 5 points, rebounds, and assists, or, these kind of obscure injury news related props, which I think that's where a lot of these sports books are getting in trouble, right? They're kind of viewing all these props as like the same thing, right? I think that there's huge demand to bet on these narrative-specific props, right? Like Ashton Gidi for Boise State, right? Like, is he going to break the record? Is he going to rush for 150 yards next week, right? I think you can get these, like, high-limit, pretty tight spreads on narrative-based player props. And rather than say we're going to offer, player props for all 10 NBA starters and all these things, like, hey, what about there's a big game on, and, like, is LeBron James going to score over under 25 points, right? Just keep it really simple, focus on high liquidity, and try to get something where there's two sides or, there's real interest, because I think the whole, bench player, how much is he going to score is kind of played out, and I think focusing on key markets is like, has always been our edge.
Yeah, love it. You stick to the high narrative conversation happening all over the world. That's where you're going to get the two sides. Yep. Very opinionated sports on that.
Exactly.
Awesome. So next 6 months, they flies by. Yeah. Obviously, we've seen that in the last 6 months, but anything cooking?
We got a lot of stuff cooking. I don't want to talk too much because I don't like, over-promising, under-delivering. I will tell you, a big project we've been working on is we built the exchange for like a small Telegram group, right? And right now we can handle about 150 orders per second, right?
Yeah.
And that may sound like a decent amount, but when you factor in liquidity providers and financial grade trading, right, that's not even close to where we need to be. So we made kind of a simple but key architecture change that should allow us to process around 10,000 orders per second.
Nice.
That's going to open up the exchange to a new type of user, but also we have a number of liquidity providers who want to provide offers, but we just don't have the throughput for them right now. Yeah. It's kind of always something we thought would be a good problem to have, and now we have it, and we're like, well, at least we thought it, we knew this would happen if things went well, so it's a good thing to have. But I would say just scaling the infrastructure and really getting to the point where we can accommodate these really serious, high-volume market makers is our next step. So that's going to be great, and that's going to open the door to a lot of like live betting. I know last time I mentioned Asia. Asia's been a focus and been growing in Asia, but to really expand on the soccer product, or if we're going to expand on it, we should call it a football product. So really expand the football product and bring new customer eyes on. Because at the end of the day, Betfair's lifeblood is football. Football. And I really think that there's still a very large demographic of people who can't bet on Betfair, who really want to get down and who use crypto. And I think like that is not really being serviced right now to a lot of people. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're going.
Man, everything is so perfectly planned out. So it's really exciting to watch you execute.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And plans are the easy part, right?
It's about execution too.
Yeah, exactly. So one step at a time. Appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Enjoy G2E. And next time I'll probably give you one of these.